blueberry cobbler is great, and the way we mix it with terpenes to get that flavor is wonderful. But it's also judged on the actual product itself. And so the raw CBDA is just so different, even in taste and smell, besides effectiveness, than a lot of the more isolated or different combinations. And so, yeah, it's not just flavor, but we won as the best tincture. And it was just wonderful standing there waiting and then to hear that we had won and running up to the stage.
Welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast, the show that inspires, promotes, and gives you a daily dose of inspiration from the people who have used cannabis to change their lives in extraordinary ways. Here's your host, Justin Benton.
Welcome back to the Miracle Plant Podcast, where we discuss this miracle plant and how it helps people in such extraordinary ways. We were in Los Angeles for the CBD West event put on by Mace Media at Celeste Miranda. And the last time we were at this event, it was in 2019 before the whole craziness. And we had won the Best Tincture Award for our flavor back then, which was blueberry. And this year, we also had submitted our tinctures again, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But it was really exciting to hear and see people again. Lots of really good conversations. Certainly not the same size as the one in San Diego, but Celeste knows how to pull an event off, and it was done at the Hilton LAX, and it was very classy and some really good conversations. So it was good to see some people we hadn't seen in a while and make some new friends as well. So I know Kristin's got to run. She's got a house full of guests, but I wanted to get her take on the CBD West Expo, and I know you were there to film the award show as well, Kristin.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think everybody that was there, there was a lot of hope. There was a lot of excitement. A lot of people still didn't know about CBDA, and that was really exciting to be at our booth getting, to share that awesome message and to share that this is a miracle plant. So many families are still affected, obviously, as we know, with autism. So many of the attendees and people there, were excited to learn about autism too. So that was really great to hear Janet be able to talk to so many families, and you talk to so many families, and me to share my story. So that it was really just a weekend of hope. And I think that, Thursday, Friday of hope, I should say. And I really loved getting to see people get to learn about CBDA for the first time. A lot of people didn't know, and it's crazy to me that they still don't know, but how awesome is that? And yeah, I was there to film their award show and get to see Janet's excitement, and it felt like she was running down The Price is Right when she won, and it was so awesome. So it was very cool.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm so glad you were there and be able to attend. I had some practices and some games I had to attend, so that was so great that you were there and able to help out on the booth, and just love your excitement and your knowledge, and obviously your own experience with this miracle plant and how it's helped your son so much. So I know you have to run because you guys got a big horse trip coming up, so I will let you get back to it.
And the reason we get to do the horse trip is because of this miracle plant. So yay!
That's awesome. Well, we'll look for some pictures on social media.
Absolutely.
And you guys have a blast out there in Arizona.
All right. Heal the world. Bye, everyone.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Kristin. So, Janet, you're up next. I know you're on an Uber down to the LA area, which we've made that trip every single day for the last 4 days. It's pretty crazy how much we've been bouncing up and down. But what was your take? And maybe I'll let you explain what the awards are all about.
I am so excited. I'm very happy to have Kristin there to help too, by the way. I was just so excited, like you had mentioned, to actually be around the people again. And we've been kind of isolated for quite a while. And again, like Kristin said too, my biggest excitement is explaining to people that there is hope, especially a lot of people with like constant pain, or people with, I can't remember what else we came across, in Parkinson's and things like that. And also we always talk about autism and Alzheimer's and all the magic that the CBDA does with the raw plant. And again, too, very many people I talked to were very interested in the fact of differentiating when you heat it and when you don't, when it's the whole plant, when it's organic, those sorts of things. And we do have a shout out to Molly, who put together and created all of the new materials for the new look for the booth, focusing on the miracle plant. And so that was very exciting to have a whole new look and a whole new set of everything that we at the expo. Got a lot of compliments on the booth and how clearly it explained what we were doing. But again, too, there's just nothing like the excitement. They had a reception on Thursday night with all the people there, all the attendees. And it's always a huge excitement about deciding who gets to win different product awards. And to me, the sublingual oil, or the tincture, as some people call it, is kind of the main product that pretty much every company has some version of it. And so to win that, to me, is like the biggest award. There's some other littler ones, but that to me is the biggest award. And it goes beyond the flavor. And so our blackberry cobbler is great. And the way we mix it with terpenes to get that flavor is wonderful. But it's also judged on the actual product itself. And so the raw CBDA is just so different, even in taste and smell, besides effectiveness, than a lot of the more isolated or different combinations. And so, yeah, it's not just flavor, but we won as the best tincture. And it was just wonderful standing there waiting and then to hear that we had won and running up to the stage. And then Celeste is there, Celeste Miranda, who actually puts on these shows and also is the editor of several magazines in the space, including extraction and CBD and different things. And we've gotten to know her a bit. And she also uses our product at times for some health issues. But she was so excited too. And I went up there, we both had tears in our eyes. And she just said, please keep doing what you're doing. And anyway, to me, it was a huge emotional and touching moment, besides being a big celebration. And it was great having Kristin there to capture it. I might have looked pretty crazy because I was super excited. But again, too, as Justin mentioned, so that's back-to-back awards to show that there is the very benefits of the CBDA and how unique it is. It's even available to people who are just testing it and comparing them just on the properties, not even all the people who give their testimonies and their successes actually using the product. And so again, too, that was just amazing, just to highlight again. And if Justin doesn't mind, I'll go on quickly, too, before it gets too noisy here. The other big event that happened at the expo for us was we introduced a new product. And our new product is called Trim, or Trim X, in the most common dosage people buy it. And we have created that because, as you might know, in America, we have a problem with weight. And 40% of Americans are clinically obese, which is like beyond just a little chubby. And then on average, they say 20% of people who have lived through the pandemic have gained at least 20 plus pounds. And so we just have a huge issue with weight. And one aspect of that is we have so many highly processed foods that are pretty addictive. And a lot of things with sugar are also very addictive and very hard on the body. But that addiction and that craving is pretty hard to deal with, especially seems to be kind of late at night or at different times people are craving. And also fast food becomes pretty addictive for some of those same reasons. And so the Trim is our attempt by using the CBDA and its benefits in terms of the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, helping with the nerves and all those things, balancing our levels. But you add in the Trim X, which has 2 different herbs to it. And one of the herbs literally blocks the taste buds on your tongue, so the sweetness doesn't come through. So you can have candy, but it just tastes kind of unusual. Or like chocolate, it's still chocolate, but it doesn't taste right. And so just not having that great taste is one way to stop the craving. It also then works with your small intestine with the absorption of sugar. And it slows down that absorption, so you aren't even getting all of the sugar that you're even eating. So that also helps. And then again, too, by getting rid of the craving, you're far less likely then when you're feeling stressed, like say end of the day or all those types of things, or even in the morning to reach for that donut or something to start your day. And so those are great in itself. The other ingredient actually helps what we call metabolic syndrome. And that's the syndrome where we all get tummies a little bit bigger than we'd like them to be. And then it leads to like type 2 diabetes, which is also hugely on the rise here. And this particular herb was actually used gave the idea to the pharmaceutical industries to make metformin, which a lot of people take for type 2 diabetes. But again, too, as we're raw, organic, holistic people, the actual herbs themselves is what we go to that, again, are raw and organic. And so again, too, it helps with that metabolic syndrome in terms of the type 2 diabetes, the weight gain, and then issues with your metabolism. And so it's just to me an amazing powerhouse combination. And then you put it in with all the benefits of CBDA and the CBDA going to every cell in our body. Uh, we can't wait to see the general public try it. We did a lot of trials before we actually brought it to market. And people were just saying, yes, I ate it and I didn't want the chocolate anymore. Or I didn't go dig in my cupboard at midnight looking for sugar. Or I ate a bunch of sugar, but I didn't get like a big drop in my blood sugar. So between the award and the Trim X and seeing all the great people again, just a super highlight actually of my years in the business.
Yeah, well, it was certainly great to see people that I hadn't seen in a while. I guess I have not seen Celeste since San Diego in 2019 at the end of the year, and she's definitely a major player in the industry and has been for many years. And it's great to see people that are good people and that have been around and that are there for the right reasons. And you feel for her and her company for what they've had to go through these past 20 months or so with shutting down public events. And she handled they're the CBD Expo tour, and so they had to cancel all the events. They didn't really do much virtual, and she started doing some events earlier this year, and it was really a great event. I mean there was only around 60 booths, so my expectations were pretty low. And we actually combined the CBD West Expo with the Extraction Expo. So there was a lot of extractors there, and it's always interesting to get the more scientific view on cannabinoids. And I was on a panel as well as Janet, and it was interesting because there's a lot of different people that come to this space for a lot of different reasons. And some are coming here for food and beverage, and some are coming for just looking at CBD as an ingredient that you will just add to an energy drink or something. And then there's others that are here because of the whole plant and what the plant has done to help their bodies recover or support their body's recovery from really serious issues. So it was just incredible. The first day was more of a business to business day, and I had great conversations. The first day I was so blown away that I knew that it was going to be, it made the show in and of itself. I was talking with investors from Japan. I was talking with some folks in Germany. I was talking with some folks who were ambassadors to Spain, and a lot of CBD shops and wholesalers, retail shops flew in from all over the country, back east, the Midwest. I was just really stunned how many people came. Now, granted, it's in LA, so I think a lot of people said, well, that's the one I'm going to go to. But, there just hasn't been many. And we had a nice booth right there in the front when you walked in, and just had incredible conversations. And so, again, my expectations were super low just because, number one, I didn't even know if we were going to be able to have an expo in LA with everything that's going on in LA. LA is a little bit more, kind of conservative when it comes to public events and all that kind of stuff. So when Celeste reached out to me and said that they were going to have the event, I said, let's do it. Find me a booth. And so just totally blown away by the conversations that we had and the education that we were able to disperse. There were some more people that knew about CBDA. I had some great conversations about that. They would come up to me, and we had one of our banners was talking about CBDA and Raphael Mechoulam. It was the Godfather one, which is leave the CBD, take the CBDA. And they're like, why isn't because they would go around to other booths, and because the word is getting out about CBDA. There's a little bit of confusion of the stabilization of CBDA, which is more just kind of smoke and mirrors for pharmaceutical companies to try and sell something that's repeatable. After cold extraction with our products, the CBDA does not disintegrate or does not devolve into CBD. And even if it were to, if it was sitting in a hot car for 3 days or something like that, and the CBDA was through heat and light was to convert a little bit, what's it going to convert into, right? A little bit of CBDA might turn into CBD, but no big deal. So there's just kind of a false narrative out there that CBDA is unstable, which is not true. It's once it's been extracted, it stays in its current format. And so, the people that were walking around and asking about CBDA or knew about it were just wondering, why isn't everybody doing CBDA? And we also have, we sell our products in bulk so people can formulate, and we also have high CBGA strains as well. So there's a lot of interest in our CBDA and CBGA because it's hard to find. I mean, it's a scarce commodity. And so that was an interesting, so like I said, the conversations that we had blew me away, because before all this stuff happened, I mean, we were on a rocket ship. We were a leader in California as far as the CBD market goes. And, we had stores we were opening, and we had, chiropractors and doctors and health food stores, and we had formulators. I mean, we were just, everything was all mission go. And then, when the pandemic hit, everything just kind of stopped. And so, it was nice to have these conversations again to get things going, where people will start formulating and start making the best possible products with whole plant, CBDA products, and that international pockets are opening up again. It gives me hope that we're going to get through this. We're going to get on the other side of this pandemic, and we're just going to get back to normal and just growing. And though obviously the plant has come so far from going from illegal to essential, the cannabis industry itself has actually had record numbers. So cannabis is absolutely on fire, kind of like the way we were before the pandemic. CBD companies really, I mean, if you've got a good online presence, then you're probably going to be okay. And that's where we were. We had to really work on that, but it'll just be nice again, because our customers for the most part are 50 years and older, and they've got some health issues, or their parents have some health issues, and they want to come in and talk. They want to either pick up the phone and call us, or they want to come into one of our stores, and they want to sit down, and they want to look you in the eye, and they want to ask their questions, and they want to feel good about the answers. And that was really always the biggest differentiation for us, is that we have physical stores in California and out there in Colorado. And so it just gave people a certain level of comfort, and they obviously knew that we knew what we were talking about. And that was really what, and then we really got to hear the stories and see the amazing, incredible journeys that people went on, and really understand what they needed and what they wanted, and how much it was helping, which, had turned into this podcast, the Miracle Plant Podcast, to share these incredible stories that we hear, because we had that face-to-face conversation, and we saw people's lives literally change. Like, we saw their aura, we saw their skin complexion, we saw their energy. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And so that will always be a blessing for us, to be able to witness these incredible health, stories on a continuous basis. And we just are so looking forward to getting on the other side of this, so we can just get back to doing what we do best, and that's helping people help themselves when it comes to their health. So that's about all I got for today. Any other final comments, Dan or Janet, before we wrap up?
I was just going to ask if you saw any new trends or new things that are on the horizon that maybe you guys are, or maybe even share some ideas or some of the things that you're working on that maybe the public doesn't know about yet. Anything?
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing is, with the AB 45 that passed, that was probably a big reason why we had so much interest in our bulk products, so they could formulate their own products. Because now that AB 45 is sitting on the governor's desk to be signed by October 10th, we can now completely legally 100% make CBD products in food and beverages, pet foods, and ingestibles, topicals, you name it. And so the industry itself is those that were waiting on the sidelines, and we were waiting on the sidelines too. We've always been focused on health, and the best way to get this product into your system is to subliminally hold it under your tongue for 7 minutes, or use a suppository. If you have real serious tissues, especially in your abdomen areas, the suppository is the best way. And so we never went with the gummies and the chocolates and the vapes and the, whatever else they're doing, the patches and all that kind of stuff, because it just wasn't, efficacy wasn't there. And so now that this bill has passed and is giving us a clear guidance of how do we proceed and make new products, we certainly are going to be rolling out some more consumer-friendly products that will still have the same level of health and organic and quality, but will maybe be more accessible to people on a broader scale. Of course, we would love for everyone to take sublinguals, but not everyone will take sublinguals, especially younger people. And so we're going to be rolling out a lot more product lines here in the next coming months to really just kind of broaden our scope. I can't envision us doing any gummies anytime soon, but definitely some different formats and some different ways for people to consume the product now that we do have a structure in place in California for how we can proceed. Because I know I've mentioned on here before is, we could have started a beverage company. And there are people that are doing beverage companies. There was a couple at the show. But if you invested in all the inventory and the resources and the batch runs and all of that, and then, this bill passes and says you need to have XYZ on the label, or you need to have this signed off on before it can be considered California approved, then you would lose all that. You would lose all your momentum and lose all that investment. So, as far as new things in the industry, there were some extraction people there that are always talking about some latest and greatest, nano water technology. But again, we all know that are familiar with this plan is just consume it the way it was meant to be consumed, which is whole plant, raw, organic. If you can't grow it in your backyard and juice it, then on the same level as our products, because that's how we make them as well. But I didn't really see anything too new. I mean, some people were talking about CBC and CBN, and I was on a minor cannabinoid panel, and I kind of got into it with this technical sciencey guy that was all about, making cannabinoids from like sugars and stuff. And I'm just like, whatever. And I was like, there's no such thing as a minor cannabinoid to me, because all cannabinoids are great. And the CBG was listed as one. And we obviously grow strains that are high in CBGA, which is great for focus and clarity and all those types of things, brain fog. So we actually have a product that's high in CBG. So to call it a minor cannabinoid is pretty silly. And so all the cannabinoids matter, and they're all there for a reason. They work together like a perfect symphony. So nothing too eye dropping or anything like that, or jaw dropping that I saw. But I don't know. Did you see anything new upcoming, Janet, or have anything to add?
I always have something to add. What I saw basically too is, and my emphasis always is the CBDA, which I tried to call a minor cannabinoid, is actually the major cannabinoid, and so there's starting to be a recognition of that. And so the minor cannabinoids are just that, minor, and so there was a lot of discussion in the industry. I think they're always trying to find some kind of a new marketing type trend, like, oh, let's do Delta 8, oh, let's do this, oh, let's make it nano. And so to me, there's just kind of a lot of maneuvering around to find some hot spot to make a bunch of quick money. But realistically, realizing the raw whole plant, and like we are doing, to me, is still leading the way of the industry and what works, and really focusing on true health. And I see that with people that are in the business for the right reasons. They want to help people. They want to make sure they have a good product. And then we do have a bunch of people that realize it's $1 billion market or whatever. And so they're going to try to keep finding ways to make the money. And so there's always going to be those two types of people at all of our events. And so to me, the ongoing long-term trend is an effective CBD that actually helps with pain and anxiety and sleep and neurological conditions like Alzheimer's and autism. And so to me, that's the backbone of the industry. And so people can kind of waver around it. And so you're going to hear some new things. Another new trend that was discussed was psychedelics, people were talking about. And sorry, they're still Schedule 1, and they are kind of dangerous. And so again, too, you just kind of see those things to come up with something new to talk about, basically. But to me, the trend is always going to be toward what's the best product, what's going to actually help people, and what's the best way to take it or improve the extraction methods. But there's just not any quick flash in the pan ideas that are going to be real new trends. Obviously, the new trend now is going to be actually being able to put CBD in products again. We used to have dog treats and brownies. And again, to anything you chew and swallow, you're going to have much lower usefulness because you don't absorb as much. But again, too, so those kind of trends and the whole industry is going to be moving toward food and beverages. But again, too, I think people that stay focused on the path of what's the best way to honor this miracle plant, what's the best way to help people, aren't going to be distracted by small trends here and there.
Agreed. Well, like I said, it was great to be there. It was great to win the award again for Best Tincture. And a tip of the cap to Celeste and all her team for pulling off such a great event. And we look forward to attending more events in the very near future, and hopefully winning some more awards and changing some more people's perspective on this miracle plant, especially when you consume it in the raw whole plant form. So with that, let's get this show on the road. So on the count of three, we're going to unmute our mics and say heal the world, because that's our mission here at the Miracle Plant and 101hemp.org, is to heal the world one family at a time, one story at a time, one product at a time, one video at a time, one episode at a time, so people can be exposed to the information that was the answer for us and our son to recover from a severe neurological ailment. So on the count of three, let's say heal the world, so the world out there who's looking for an answer can find us, hear us, feel us, and be exposed to this incredible information. 1, 2, 3.
Heal
the
world! All right, everybody. Thanks for coming
everybody.
by. Thanks for coming by the Miracle Plan podcast. We'll see you next week. And until then, take care of yourself and take care of those around you. Take care, everybody.